Welcome back, everybody, to All Things Rangers. This week, we have a lot to cover, as we normally do, because we always talk a lot. I am your host, Mark Williams, and I am joined by the man who could figure out everything, including the water temple in The Legend of Zelda, the Ocarina of Time, Mr. John Polkowski.
What a pain in the neck that board is, and Adam Fox for Norris.
And, of course, as always, we're joined every week by our Islanders guy, co-host of the Off the Post podcast, Mr. Anthony Larocco, showing off his guns.
Yeah, cheers. A little retro Canucks here.
How about Lauren?
Yeah.
You know what? The good thing about for me and Filk is it brings back memories in '94. Well, I have memories in '94. How old were you in '94?
I was 8, but I have tons of memories from it.
Okay, good. Yeah. See, I was lucky enough to get to see the Rangers win at least one cup.
Hitting your stomach feeling every time Pablo Borre stepped on the ice, like he was going to score a goal every damn time he was out there, like I used to?
Oh, yeah. No, I always had that. Well, except for Game 3 when he got ejected. So
yeah.
That was a good thing. And you know what the funny part is? He still scored in that game.
Yep.
All right. Starting with the Rangers this week, they took on the Philadelphia Flyers on Thursday, and they lost 3-2. Brendan Smith, Artemi Panarin had goals, and James Van Riemsdyk had a pair of goals. So,
One off the face.
yeah. Well, you know what? Good goal scorers can figure out how to get the puck in the net. The next night, the Rangers came back with a 4-1 win. Chris Kreider, Pavel Buchnevich, Alexis Lafreniere, and Chytil all had goals. The Chytil goal didn't exactly go well for the goaltenders on that one. Sunday night, the Rangers took on the Buffalo Sabres. They won 6-3. Mika Zibabanejad had a hat trick, but it wasn't a natural hat trick. So, what are you doing there, Mika? Come on. And Kakko had 2 goals on the night. So, then they had to kind of squeak by Tuesday night against Buffalo, 3-1. Brendan Smith, geez, where are all these goals coming from? And I forgot who scored else. Mika Zibabanejad and Alexis Lafreniere, of course. Should have probably remembered that before I started talking. All right. So, John, what does this week set up for the New York Rangers?
Well, you're looking at the games game by game. I thought the first Philly game, obviously, they lost. They played bad. The second game, they played better. It was a good effort overall. I would say 35 to 40 minutes of that game was definitely good hockey. And then the next 2 games against Buffalo just felt like they were playing down the competition again, which doesn't bode well for them against the Islanders, because the Islanders are looking to get a better playoff spot. They're still trying to fight for that division with your prediction Penguins. Yeah, they're fighting for that. They're fighting with the Capitals, who they've taken on a couple of times recently as well. So the Islanders are going to come out hard as they always do. Like I said, the Islanders always get up for the Rangers. Now the question is, can David Quinn motivate this team to play 60 minutes of hockey for these next 2 games? And with the way that they looked against Buffalo, I'm not sure if I really like the odds of that, to be honest with you. So, I mean, the positives that we're going to take from this are the kids are producing. And Quinn is actually giving them minutes to do so. He moved up Lafreniere onto the top line with Zibabanejad and Buchnevich, and Lafreniere has looked the part, and he's actually scored some really nice goals in the process, too. He looks more assertive. He looks confident. He's skating well. Even if you've listened to the interviews or read the quotes from him, he definitely feels like he has more confidence. Vitaly Kravtsov still looks good, but Quinn has him on fourth line island. So I don't know what he has to do to get off of fourth line island, but they need to take him off there, and I think it's a time that they put him with Strome and Panarin, because Vitaly Kravtsov has looked the part whatever line he's played on. So Colin Blackwell needs to be demoted, and Quinn, because it is unsustainable shooting percentage, won't do that for whatever reason, which is one of the cons. But overall, I don't like the performance in the games against Buffalo. I think it's not a good sign for them against a team that's going to come out really hard, come in waves, and forecheck hard, and has a good system and a good coach in Barry Trotz. So I need better from this team. Listen, I said they were not going to make the playoffs. I'm not going to get my hopes up but come out and play good hockey and give them an honest 60 minutes. And play the kids. That's all I'm really asking for at this point.
I think the games. The problem is it's sort of like watching Alabama take on some college that I've never heard of, or the Citadel, and beating them by 59, which is the way I feel about the Sabres and a little bit the Flyers. I understand that the Rangers lost to the Flyers one of those games, but the Flyers just, I have never seen the team fall apart the way the Philadelphia Flyers had. I think in my preseason prediction, I think I had them as the second place team. And I don't even know if they're going to be a playoff team next year. So we'll throw that one out there. I just don't think it's going to happen. Shesterkin, I thought, looks fantastic. And he's looking the part as a number one. Obviously, we were going to see, and everybody want to say it with me, Alexander Georgiev in one of these two games. So it's at least one, if not two. There's, it's kind of funny because now the Rangers have a chance of almost, and sounds like heresy, but they can catch the Islanders. That's a possibility. It's not likely, just saying it's a possibility. I want to be confident. I want to be confident going into these games. But there's always that one moment where you sit back and just say, what are you doing, David Quinn? And I understand I'm not supposed to question anything because, after all, he knows better than me, right? Mm-hmm. It's just, like we said before, I don't think playing Kravtsov with Howden and Rooney is the answer. I think making an actual fourth line where you have a gritty talent on there. And even though he had a goal this week, I'm not exactly too convinced on Filipino anymore. I wonder if the Rangers should just upgrade from him. But this is setting up for Rangers Islanders, and we're going to have our own little segment on that soon enough. So, Anthony, your recap of the Rangers week.
Hey, look, the Rangers got themselves back in a playoff chase, and they beat bad teams to do it. They steamrolled Jersey those 4 times, and they just played Philly, they just played Buffalo, but they took care of business. So kudos to them. That's what they're supposed to do. I do think the slip up of the loss to Philly, I think that does hurt them, because you're talking, they could have been 2 points behind Boston entering tonight. So I think that loss to Philly, if they ultimately fall short and don't make the playoffs, you might be able to look back on that. And obviously, depending on what they do the rest of the games, if they lose the majority of them, it doesn't matter. But if they, let's say 6 games left, if they go 5-1 or something like that, and they still miss it somehow, you can look at that Philly game. I felt they needed both against Philly, but Buffalo, I agree with you guys. The second game, they played a little more down to Buffalo's level, but also give some credit to Buffalo. They've been better under Don Granato. They've beaten some teams over the last couple of weeks. They beat Pittsburgh, they beat Boston, so they're a little bit of a hard team to play against. Honestly, I think they're better than New Jersey right now. Personally, I think New Jersey is more of a tire fire than Buffalo. But the Rangers, they get good production from the kids. They started to pot some goals. They shut down a Flyer team in the win that can score goals. Let's face it, they're a bad team, but they can score goals. I felt that they did a pretty good job against them despite the one loss. Now they have these 2 games against the Islanders, and these are huge games for them. So just speaking solely from the Rangers catching the Islanders perspective, because obviously there's Boston, but for Boston, they can afford to split the games with the Islanders here. If they had their eyes on trying to catch the Islanders, they need to win both. And I say that obviously because if they split, the Rangers will have 60 points left with 4 games left. If they won out, that's 68. The Islanders would have 65. They would only need 4 points, and they play New Jersey twice and Buffalo twice. Catching the Bruins, different story. They can afford to lose one here. Catching the Islanders, they need to win both. But I think it's going to be great hockey. I think both teams are really have a lot to play for. Rangers obviously trying to get a playoff spot. The Islanders trying to get their mojo back. I know we'll get that next segment, but they're having trouble scoring. But I think it's important for the Rangers to start Georgiev tonight. Put your best goaltender forward against the team you have success with, and try to get the win, and then try to steal another one on Saturday. But I think they absolutely need to go Gorgiev here. But overall, I think the Rangers had a good week. Fox continues to look like a Norris Trophy winner. And like I said, Kakko, I thought, is playing well on both sides of the puck. Panarin's being Panarin, Zibabanejad scoring. So right now, the Rangers are pretty much rolling. So we'll see what happens when they play good teams now. Because you got to remember, they're done with the bad teams. They got, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but they got the 2 against the Islanders. Then they have 2 against Washington, 2 against Boston, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so from here on out, it's a good team. So if they want to make it, this is a good measuring stick. See where they compare here.
As a Ranger fan over the years, it's funny because I actually think it's a benefit that they're playing good teams instead of playing Sabres and Devils and stuff like that. They always find a way to crap the bed against one of those teams. Phil?
Yeah, like I said, it's a litmus test. It's going to be a testament of whether David Quinn can lead this group or not. And you would wonder if that'll factor into their decision to either move on from him this season. I know he's got a couple years left on his contract with them, or if they want to go forward with, if they want to go with a new coach, and then the growth of the kids themselves. I mean, if he puts the kids in key situations and they come up and they reward him, then he looks good to the brass. And a couple little notes that I wanted to say, just while I had them on the top of my head. Carter Hart's out for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
MCL tear, if I read it correctly. So
nightmare of the season
for Philly. What's that?
Yeah.
Nightmare of the season for him.
Oh yeah, and now you gotta wonder if Flyers management is gonna look to see if you need a new goaltender. So yeah, it might be the discussion there.
I mean, you would think they'd give him another year to kind of just chalk this off to an aberration, and then see next year. I mean, that's my opinion. I don't know. I mean, it's tough, but
my only reply to that, Anthony, is it is Philadelphia. It's the goalie graveyard, and just think about I'm going to go back to the early 2000s for a second, where you had Van Beesbrook, Ryan Boucher, Roman Czechmanek, Turin Ninamaki, Robert Esch. I could go on forever naming people. Mason, Ray Emery. There's a different goalie every other day. I don't understand why goalies just can't succeed. Oh, I forgot, of course, Ilya Bryzgalov.
Humongous team.
Humongous.
That's been that. It's only game.
Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure Sergei Bobrovsky was going, thank God they trade me from that damn organization. So
yeah, you could call it the goalie gulag.
It is. It really is. Like it's where goalies go to die. We want to know what you think about the New York Rangers and how their week went, and how this week is going to be upcoming with games against the New York Islanders and the Washington Capitals. I mean, the Rangers played well against the Capitals all year, so this should be interesting. All right.
If you like that video, we got a lot more. So check out any of these that are right over here. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.